Good afternoon. Welcome to the Westport Board of Health April 29th, 2024 meeting, which I am calling to order. Under Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20F, this meeting is being recorded. And please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First order of business, just before we get to the public health nurse, is since we've had an election, is board reorganization. I'm happy to continue as chair, but also happy to turn it over, the hot seat over to anybody else who would like to be chair. So, however you'd like to proceed.
I'm happy with your being chair.
I am too.
Oh, okay.
So I move that we continue on as we are with Tanya Ryden as chair, Phil Weinberg as vice chair, and myself as secretary.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Thank you, everybody. I think we make a great team. We all pitch in, and look forward to hearing things that people are working on a little later in the agenda. But for now, we're going to turn over to Linda Pierce, our town nurse, to discuss the topic of stress.
Good afternoon, all. April was recognized as National Stress Awareness Month to bring attention to the negative impact of stress. Managing stress is an essential component of a healthy lifestyle. Knowing how to manage stress can improve mental and physical well-being, as well as minimizing health issues. Stress is unavoidable. Now more than ever, it's important to understand stress and how we can manage it. While stress can be beneficial, too much of it can be harmful. When the body senses a threat or sensor, it goes on high alert, and once the threat passes, the body quickly recovers. At least that's the way it's supposed to work. Stresses can include health matters, work, money, family issues, racism, gender inequality, and regular daily hassles. When unrelenting or too many stresses, your body might be on a constant state of high alert, leading to poor concentration, bad moods, professional burnout, mental and physical health problems. When stress becomes chronic, the body cannot return to normal function. Chronic stress can be linked with health diseases such as heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, depression, and anxiety. Recognize and encounter signs of stress. Your body sends out signals that may say, "I'm stressed." Always listen to your body. It can include a headache, cold hands, tight muscles, a nervous stomach, clenched teeth, feeling on edge, fidgety, irritable, or withdrawn. Take time for yourself, self-care. It's not selfish or indulgent. Prioritize. Do something you enjoy. Do a relaxation technique like meditation, read a book, or listen to some music. Remember, you come first when whatever you're stressing about has your name on it. You will accomplish it in a timely manner. Focus on the positive rather than the negative. Stay connected with making friends, stay in touch with family and old friends, and have yourself a good relaxing time. Change the way you think by reframing pleasant views. Having a person you can talk to will reduce anger and reassuring and calming. Seek help with problems and resources for tips and information. It's never too late to change. Sometimes there's a better way to build a mousetrap. And we all do go through stress, and sometimes it's unavoidable, but it's by the way that we deal with it. And you can either keep letting it eat inside you, or you can say, you know what, take a breath, it'll get done. And I'm a firm believer in good breathing, in through the mouth and out, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Anyway, our next blood drive, which will be at St. John's Basement, is on May 16th. And you must go online to register with the American Red Cross for an appointment. And anybody have any questions?
I'll just say that having the nice warm weather today was definitely a de-stressor for me.
Absolutely. But there was a big bee out there that was buzzing around, and I'm like, I'm going to avoid you. So, because, the flowers look beautiful, and, we had a little bit of rain, so then this morning, it's a little balmy out there, but I'll take balmy over all that rain and that discomfort. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much, Linda. I appreciate it.
And there's also a lot of research about nature, being out in nature and decreasing stress, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, moving on, we'll go to Matt's written report. Have that in your packets. Any questions on that?
I have none.
Verbal update, please.
So Linda just mentioned the blood drive. And I'll just say that we're having a rabies clinic on May 4th from 9 to 12 behind the Westport Hicksbridge Fire Station. It's free to Westport residents and $15 for non-residents. So please take advantage of the clinic and get your pets vaccinated against rabies.
Do you have enough help for that?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
We're using something different and they're bringing little people down, so.
Okay.
So
And this is-
Nick will be there. So.
Yeah, cats, dogs, how about ferrets?
Yeah, I think it's cats, dogs, and ferrets, yeah.
Okay, and we have a director approved plan, 17 Courtney Drive.
Yep, 17 Courtney Drive for Warren Messier on a 60,078 square foot lot. It's new construction, 4 bedrooms, utilizing a single air and a stone bed. And it's just, I got a note here, it's pending Concom review.
Okay, that's a DN 960, I presume.
Yes.
Okay. So it just needs a conditional on Concom approval, I think. And the usual 2 times per year total nitrogen testing. Entertain a motion?
I move that we endorse the director-approved plan for 17 Courtney Drive, new construction, pending Concom review.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that's unanimous. I'm sorry? Yes, because it's new construction, it's automatic, 2 times per year for at least 2 years. Thank you, Bob. Okay, moving on to the April 17th, 2024 minutes. Phil was absent, so we'll be up to Donna and myself. Any concerns?
I had no concerns or no changes. So I will move that we approve the minutes for April 17th, 2024.
And I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 2 with 1 abstention. Thank you. We postponed the minutes from April 1st last time because those were ones that I was the only one present who had been at that meeting. So we missed them this time. We'll put them on the agenda for the next meeting. Okay, moving on to other business. First off is a request from Spindle Rock Beach Club. I'll turn it over to Matt.
Yeah, sure. So they've gotten clean tests for the required time period, and they're asking to go from weekly to monthly testing. And it needs board approval to do that.
And there are no issues.
No issues.
Any
Okay.
questions? Otherwise, I'll take a
No.
motion.
I move that we approve the application for extension of sampling variance for Massachusetts Tier 3 Beach to from once a month testing.
This is for Spindle Rock Beach Club. Okay.
Is it spent?
Yeah.
Oh,
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
aye.
That's unanimous. Thank you. So that goes through 2028 for 4 years. Next is a request from Charles Barron to request a 1-year extension for installation of septic repair at, I will have the address in a second, 9 Lawrence Avenue. Questions about that?
What kind of system is it?
As I recall, is a regular, it's just a replacement, so it's not a D-night.
Right, yeah, it's just an upgrade without an increase in flow. So they wouldn't, they fall into the category where they don't need D9.
Okay.
So I'll move to approve the request for an extension on the installation of a replacement system at 9 Lawrence Avenue.
I second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous, thank you. So next on the agenda was proposal to schedule a working meeting. I have my notebook, I don't remember. There are a bunch of things we need to catch up on, well regulations, how to manage tight tanks at East Beach, transfer station stuff, so a lot of things going on. So the trying to shoehorn something in between meeting weeks. I have a tentative proposal of May 9th in the morning, if that is convenient for.
That works for me.
That's okay.
Okay, so 10 o'clock, is that?
How's that for you, Matt?
May 9th, what day is it on?
It's a Thursday.
Yeah, that works, at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
And we'll just kind of float around some kind of agenda as we get closer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know well regs was one of them, sort of updating, like we need to get back on track with that. Tight tank, abandoned tight tank status. I can't remember, what else we did talk about? Any other topics you want to put on the agenda? If you're thinking of them now, we can mention them, otherwise just feed them to Matt.
Yeah, well, because it's a relatively short time frame, at least for me, I'd have to go back and think about the.
I know, we have to sort
Well,
of refresh it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
just kinda-
and we're,
Yeah, yeah,
I'll be on vacation next week, so
yeah.
we've all been
So-
away and kind of out of
Yeah.
circulation, so we need to
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
circle back. So just forward that stuff to Matt.
The well range will take a little bit, so. just bear that
Yeah, we're
in
not
mind.
ready for anything, it's just sort of let's touch base again and kind of develop
Mhm.
a
Yeah,
work plan
What our
to move it
approach will
forward,
be.
because it's sort of, and, you know, there are a lot of things that have been happening with sewer
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff, and
right.
that will be after town meeting, so there may be some, you know, I don't know, impact on our work somehow, so we can look at that. Okay, so May 9th, 10 a.m., we'll schedule the working meeting. Board member updates?
I have a couple. I attended the Massachusetts Association of Health Boards program on Saturday, which was very informative, and I spoke to Matt about one of the two issues that came up, and one of them was the problem in Plymouth, which I was very unaware of. They're having difficulty. There's a nuclear power plant that no longer exists, and they're trying to figure out how to directly deal with some of the issues with getting rid of the nuclear waste, which is really not that far from us.
No.
And one of the choices of the company was to dump the nuclear waste into the ocean, which got stopped. The reason why I'm bringing it up is Plymouth is not that far away, and we share the same waters and the same air. And one of the ways they're getting rid of the nuclear, the water that cooled the
Rods.
the rods,
Yeah.
they're just letting it evaporate into the air. So I just found it very interesting. There was a discussion. People were trying to help them figure out what kind of things that they could do to tackle this problem. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is it's not that far from us. So I think that people are not aware of some of the other issues that some of the other boards of health are really having to tackle and deal with. It's very, very difficult. But it was very informative, and I'm glad I went. And the other thing is, May starts on Wednesday, the beginning of Mental Health Awareness Month, and there are 3 programs open to the community. I will be posting, they're posted in some places around town, into the library, Partners, Lee's, and in the town hall annex. the different programs that are going to occur. The first one is The Power of Self-Compassion, and that's on May 11th at the library at 10:30, which I will be doing. The next one is on the 14th at the middle high school. It's called Increased Positive Interactions and Emotional Well-Being, Family Communication, and it's being presented by a social worker who is in private practice. Her name is Megan O'Brien. She's also a Westport resident. And the two of the school adjustment counselors will be available to answer questions at the end. And then the third one is on May 22nd, and it is called The Impact of Opioid Addiction on Individuals, Families, and Communities, a Public Health Crisis. And there are a number of speakers, and one of them happens to be a mother who lives in Westport who lost one of her first sons to opioid overdose. So I encourage everyone to come to these programs, especially this one on opioid addiction. We have a lot of resource tables that will be available, and people from the community that have information that could be helpful to people in the town of Westport.
Great, thank you very much.
Well, this just occurred to me because earlier today I got email from kind of through other folks in town, I think, who, and that one of the big offshore wind projects is having a outreach to, I think it's just a general public outreach session, and they were circulating available, what are they, multiple dates of possibilities, and then trying to select out of those based on how many people could come on a particular day at a particular time. And I don't know anything more about it, but I can forward that to you if you're kind of interested, because I'm not quite sure how I got on that list, but I thought it'd be interesting. Because I think we've read about some of the issues in the shorelines. People have concerns about, impacts, I think primarily from the cable, but then also the broader impacts of wind farms. So if you're interested, or I'll pass it on.
Good to share
Yeah.
info. Okay, thank you. I hope you had a wonderful vacation.
I did have an excellent vacation, and my stress levels were very low because the weather was beautiful,
Oh, great.
and just the whole cultural setting was
Oh,
quite beautiful.
where were we?
Portugal.
Ah, wonderful. My brother and his family were just there. Okay, so people who get shorelines will notice we had a column on PFAS last week. And the column with the information about Mental Health Awareness Month hopefully is in this week.
He sent me an email this morning and said he doesn't see a reason why it wouldn't, but if it's not in this coming week, it'll be in the next week.
Okay. And then lastly, I just want to remind folks, because we are scheduled to come back from our vacation the day of town meeting.
Oh, boy.
So I'm just putting on notice in case we're late. The 3 articles that we sponsor, Article 12 is bundled with all of the other revolving funds. That's the vaccine account. I don't think there'll be any issues, and we don't have to speak to that because it's all bundled together. Article 22 is the one about removing the nitrogen-reducing systems for the 1% loan program. I have requested, and Steve Force has agreed, to put up a slide. It just says to remove the language from what we passed in Article 28 in 2021, but people don't see the whole thing. So I gave him the language of the article from 2021 with the strikeout language. So he's going to put that in as the second slide after the first motion. So can speak to that briefly. I can do that if I'm there, but just in case, we'll ask Phil, maybe you could be the backup in case. Just to
sure.
speak. I mean, it's basically pretty we all know straightforward, it's just removing that language to allow this low, for low and moderate income residents to use that program for septic repairs that don't necessarily involve D-night. And Article 23 is the transfer station reserve, request for $29,000 for 2 roll-off containers. As people have been noticing, the plastics dumpster gets full very fast. We need another one.
Cardboard as well.
And cardboard, okay. So, it should be straightforward, that comes from receipts reserve. The warrant is with the final motions, is circulating, and Matt will be there in case there are any technical questions, but, so that's the lineup for the, town meeting. There's, of course, lots of interesting stuff, the sewer stuff related articles, which I know they're proposing to try again at a lower amount, short-term rentals, which we're no longer involved in, so encourage
And
people to.
zoning too, they're
Yeah. I think
cutting
they're
back
gonna-
on the zoning
Yeah,
proposals.
passing over, yeah, so.
Passing over them.
Mhm. So encourage people to go to town meeting at the new middle high school, Tuesday, May 7th, 7 PM. I am continuing to do work with a group who's trying to move forward on a conservation green burial, green cemetery in the South Coast. So I'll share more when I know more on that. There's a role for the Board of Health to play at some point, but we're
Yeah,
not there yet.
and that was on the program agenda, but that person didn't speak about it. That person wasn't
okay.
there.
Yeah,
So we
I'm
didn't-
going to a Mass Health Officers Association meeting about it on May 16th. There was just a couple of programs at the Grange in the last few weeks about green burial and natural death care. So word is starting to get out, and there's definitely a cadre of people who are interested in more environmentally friendly end-of-life death management. It's not the right word, but you know what I mean. Okay, we have a few minutes. Anything else? Any other topics? Anything we can discuss? Can we do the sieve analysis?
Yeah, that's just the anticipated one.
Yeah. So that is a request from Caladesu LLC, Robert Chase, for 169 Gifford Road, 4-bedroom repair with the ARC 36. The engineer is JC Engineering on a 40,060 square foot lot. And they needed to do a sieve analysis. I'm going to turn it over to Matt for.
It was pretty straightforward, everything was fine.
Okay.
There's, the sieve analysis was good, the plan is fine, so.
Okay. So I just need a motion to accept the sieve analysis.
Okay, so I move that we accept the sieve analysis on 169 Gifford Road, owned by Robert Chase.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Oh, you have any questions?
No, I was just speaking over you when you were seconding it.
Okay, so motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous, okay. Okay,
I just had actually kind of a question for Matt, because there's a matter that's coming up in front of the Conservation Commission, which actually kind of parallels a matter that we have coming before us tonight in terms of somebody erecting this, a structure that's going to have a bathroom in it, and it relates to the kind of deed restriction aspect of it. And I was just wondering whether our authority to issue or to require deed restrictions is something that just came out of a policy, or is that something in writing? because I know we've been doing it for a long time, but I just, because this is a particularly kind of large structure, and there's just some concern about it. And I just didn't know what the background was to it. It was always in place when I started.
Well, it's in Title V, I believe, right? It mentions deed restriction in the flow calculation section.
Right, right. When you have a certain.
You have to design it for three, but if you go to 2, you have to deed restrict it.
Right.
So it comes into play there, and then we deed restrict them, obviously, if we don't have enough land to support the bedrooms. I'm not exactly,
Right.
sure, I'm not sure, I have to look through and see what section that's in, but the deed restriction language is in Title V.
Right, yeah.
We also have deed restriction language in our maximum feasible compliance policy.
Right, right, yeah. I mean, okay, yeah, that's all. Yeah, I forgot about the Title V piece of it, and I know, I think it's been a long-standing practice, I just didn't know, I don't remember, like being in our septic regulations, that there's a reference to it, you know what I mean, in terms of, the board may impose a deed restriction, blah, 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 where the size of the lot doesn't conform to the number of bedrooms.
Right, and it, with Title V, right, loading limitations only apply to new construction or an increase in flow.
Right, right.
So they want us to deed restrict it if the lot's small, so they can't just add another bedroom, because
Right.
it wouldn't meet the nitrogen
Right,
loading
right.
limitations.
Yeah, I think the logic is there. I think this is a situation where the Conservation Commission may be more predisposed to having the matter come before us on the approval to update or add a new source of flow to it, kind of just a repair, basically, or an upgrade, however you characterize it. And I think under the circumstances, we would say yes, but there's going to be a deed restriction because it's a way of preventing the structure from being converted to a bedroom. And I didn't know if that was something that, for example, the Conservation Commission could do on its own, or whether it was something that would get established by policy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I did look at our final septic regulation. We do have a deed restriction may be required, which will need notarization and reporting at the New Bedford Registry of Deeds for septic system repairs that require drinking water well setback of less than.
Okay, yeah, for that, yeah, right. Okay, well, so
a
that's.
specific
okay,
example.
so-
I haven't looked
Yeah.
through everything else, but
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. I'm thinking if Comcom could do, because do they do approvals conditioned upon Board of Health approval? So they could do a condition upon Board of Health approval and Board of Health requirement of a deed restriction if you don't have the legal authority.
Right. Which is generally their pattern, and that might happen, but I think that there's a sense that they'd rather see it in place formally before taking action. So I don't know, we'll see. I don't know,
Okay. Okay, we are close enough to 4:30, and I believe Mr. Wise is here, and as is his engineer, Len Potter. And this is a discussion for 7 Windward Way regarding the building of a garage with storage space.
Yes,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon.
So, tell us your story.
Well, we have built a 2-story garage with storage space and an exercise room on the second floor above it. And I brought a plan and some photographs. That's the garage. It's about 100 feet away from the house. And I began by thinking that I really wanted a excuse me, utility sink, which meant water. So we have already brought water to the building. And then with my exercise room on the second floor above the garage, I wanted to have a bathroom, a toilet that I could use in the middle of a workout. And Mr. Potter suggested that we could put a septic tank just outside the garage and connect it to the existing septic system, which is a five-bedroom septic system. Five-bedroom system down the slope from the garage. This photograph, the one at the bottom, is looking up from the leaching field back up toward the garage. And then I've done, this is not an official site plan, but I am an architect and I've laid it out. So here's the existing house. There are 3 bedrooms in this part, and this is the apartment that has 2 bedrooms in it. There's a septic tank for this here and a septic tank for this here, and they lead over to the leaching field, which is over here. And we're proposing just to put a septic tank here and connect it to the D-box and into the existing leaching field. It's not our intention to have a bedroom in that space. It's a storage space and an exercise room. If you felt so strongly that they could be bedrooms, I could argue from a code point of view that the exercise room couldn't be a bedroom, couldn't qualify under the code as a bedroom because it actually has a door leading from it directly into the garage at the bottom of the stair. The building code doesn't allow a garage to open directly into a bedroom. As for the storage room, if I had thought there might be an issue about it being considered a bedroom, I could change one of the windows so that there would not be a legal egress window, and it couldn't be counted as a bedroom. But anyway, so could they be used as bedrooms? I suppose they could, but that's not our intent.
Okay, great, thank you. Mr. Potter, do you have anything to add?
No, I asked Mr. Weiss from day one what was going to be up above the garage, and he said it was an exercise room and storage. And I said, well, that should be okay, no kitchen, and not a bedroom. He's got a 5-bedroom system, so I don't see any reason at all why you can't tie that bathroom into that system. You don't rent out the other side, do you?
What's that?
You don't rent out the apartment.
Oh, it is rented out.
It is rented out.
Yeah, it is rented out, yeah.
One of the things that I'm need clarification on, according to this, it's a 3-bedroom home. So is there documentation about the addition of the 2 that I don't have?
That documentation is just wrong. There are other places where it's shown as a 5-bedroom house.
My original.
The septic plans that are in the file show it to be a duplex
Yeah,
with
5 bedrooms.
5 bedrooms, but I don't know why the assessor's card is not.
This is not up to date.
It means you're not being assessed on 5 bedrooms, so that's a good thing.
We can take care of that.
Okay, let me turn over to Matt.
So just to be clear, I'm not sure if it's gonna mean anything or not, but we don't follow the building code in terms of definition of bedrooms. We follow Title V's definition, which is nothing like building code's definition. So they're quite different with that. So, yeah, I just wanted to make that point clear on that.
Okay, I'll open it up to the board for discussion.
Do we know how the property is deeded? Is it deeded as a 5-bedroom?
I didn't go to the registry of deeds
Okay.
because our files have it as a 5-bedroom.
They wouldn't put that in the deed.
It's 1.8 acres.
Yeah, it comes out to exactly 80,000 square feet, which I think is the requirement for a single-family residence.
Can I see
Well,
the
for-
assessors right out?
Yes, you can.
Let me see that. That's it, thank you.
So,
No, go ahead, I mean,
Go ahead.
Oh, no, well, this circles back to the conversation that we were having, which is, I think that the most efficient way, if we were concerned that, if not you, that someone in the future would want to convert that structure to a bedroom, that we would put a deed restriction, we would ask you to submit a deed restriction for 5 bedrooms, so that, which could be, which would then, in the event the property was transferred in the future, anyone would know, okay, this property is limited to 5 bedrooms, they can come in and request to add a bedroom, in which case they would have to modify their septic system.
Yeah, that makes sense, yes.
Yeah, so it's just kind of a way that we, kind of put people on notice as, to the basis upon which we're approving this structure not to be an additional bedroom. And so if people were doing due diligence, they would know that, and that's, not so much we're thinking you're gonna change your mind, but
Somebody in the future.
someone would say, oh, this is really nice, I'd like to buy this property, and then I'll, make this an accessory home or something, an accessory
Yeah.
apartment. And we would say, you don't have a problem with that, but you have to address the septic system issue.
We firmly believe that the existing house and the apartment were both originally chicken coops.
That's correct. That's correct.
And we believe.
They came home to roost.
We firmly believe that anybody who bought that property, which is a beautiful piece of property, would tear the house down and build another house.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Septic system and the whole 9 yards.
Right.
But, so, a deed restriction, is that something that we would write and file with a?
Yeah, there's a
There's a
format.
standard format.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
there's a simple template, and we would approve this, conditioned upon your filing a deed restriction, and, when we got that, it would, then you could proceed from there, plumbing that you need to do.
Yeah,
You would be giving up your right to have 6 bedrooms, but if you comply, you have to expand the system and comply to the health regulations of the state and the town at that point in time. If someone wanted to make an accessory apartment.
yeah.
That's what Phil's.
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand.
We want to match the design flow of the system with the number of bedrooms.
Right.
That's kind of our responsibility,
Yeah,
so this is a way of, not going around and having to check how many windows and egress, and we would
Right.
just say, okay, it's on the record and everyone should know.
So if anyone wanted to do that, they'd have to remove the deed restriction, ask the board to
Right.
remove the deed restriction, and you'd have to comply with the auxiliary apartment, accessory apartment.
Yeah,
regulations.
whatever was in effect at that time,
Right,
you would have to,
right.
you'd have to do that.
Yeah.
So, that would be my recommendation, that we should approve it subject to a 5-bedroom deed restriction.
Anything else?
No, agree with that.
Yeah, I originally thinking, if there's going to be increased flow, not from a bedroom, but, increased usage, encourage a voluntary upgrade for D-night. But given there's, the deed restriction provides that kind of protection so that should there be.
Yeah, and as I said in my letter, the flow won't increase. There's still only 4 people living on the property, so, in 5 bedrooms. So,
It was the same as if you ran back to the house and used the bathroom to sink floor.
yeah.
You have to run fast, but.
Okay,
So-
anything, Matt, go ahead.
Just to say, we're a little behind the 8 ball on this
Yeah.
review because we never received the
Plan.
anything from the building department, so we were kind of caught off guard when we called asking about it, we didn't have it, so. And the other
We're
thing.
supposed to, but.
We're supposed to
doesn't always
have.
happen.
And the other thing is, you're putting a tank in now, you're saying?
Yes,
So that'll be more than 50 feet away from the, well?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, well, you would be submitting up, so,
I have submitted the plan.
oh, we hadn't seen that, okay.
You got the plan I submitted?
It's not in the packet, so I didn't think that you submitted one yet.
No, I submitted the plan, then you denied
Okay.
it.
Okay,
You questioned it.
okay.
So it's gotta be up there somewhere.
Yeah, I didn't deny it, I think we questioned it for the discussion.
Yeah.
Okay,
I didn't say
Okay.
deny it, but.
yeah.
All right, we didn't get that in our packet. Okay,
So
so.
do we vote on it, because it was a discussion? until we see the plan, or until you approve?
Yeah, so the
The
plan
directive.
the plan will be director approved, and I'll go up and finish the review on it, but assuming everything's all right, it'll just be director approved and be on my list for the next meeting.
Okay. Which means it's informally approved already, and we're, with the understanding that our formal vote will be with the 5-bedroom deed restriction.
Yes, all right, and we'll go ahead and get the deed restriction filed.
Well, they'll make it up to you.
Oh, they'll make it up?
I don't know how that.
Yeah, we do. We make it up, and we give it to you, and you just have to go file it at the registry of deeds, and then bring us back a copy.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Good.
All
Well,
right.
thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in. Next, I'm calling the 440 hearing for 24 David Road. Property owner is Barbara Fontaine. This is a 3-bedroom pair with a stone bed. And it requires a local upgrade approval for well distance. Is that right, Mr. Potter?
Okay. Glenn Potter here for Barbara Fontaine et al. Trying to repair the existing septic system at 24 David Road. I went out there, did a perk test, and designed this stone pipe septic system. The best I can do is it's 78 feet from the well. I'm showing the existing field with the X through it, and that was upgraded maybe 15 years ago or so. And the reason it was 51 feet from the well originally, and that's because there's a hole to the east between this property on the river, and the well used to be right up in that northwest corner of that lot. But they drilled a new well down by the river and moved that septic system up into the area that I'm showing here for 34 David Road. So that allowed me to move this system closer to the eastern property line, and come up with this scenario. The septic tank is a 1,500 gallon tank, and that's okay. So we're gonna tie that existing tank into this leaching field as shown, 78 feet from the well. So the only variance we need is for 15.051G, proposed leach area less than 100 feet and greater than 50 from the owner's existing well. Proposed distance is 78 feet. Water report has been submitted to the board, and the nitrates were relatively low, which is a good thing.
Yes. Okay. Is that it?
That's it for me.
Okay. I'll turn over to Matt.
So I think the plan is fine, there's no issues, but just the maximum feasible compliance waivers up to the board, and take it from there.
Questions, comments from the board?
I'm satisfied.
Donna? Anything? No. Just the abutting property, that's not 34 David. Is that 34 David?
No, that's 34 David.
This one. It says it's 175 feet.
This
The
one?
property boundary is 175 feet, so it's less than 200 feet from the river?
Yes. Wait a minute. Yeah, that would be, let me see. 175 feet to the river, so it would be, I'm 190 feet from the river over now. No, I'm not, because I'm 15 feet from the property line, so I'm 205 feet from the river.
15 plus 175?
15 plus 175 is 190.
Yeah.
What am I saying? I'm 190 feet from the river, yes.
Okay. So does that make any?
It's a repair.
Yeah.
Repairs,
Does it have to go to Concom or anything?
it does have to go to Concom. I've certainly submitted it to Concom.
Okay. Well, I just want to make that notation. I think, given the well results and there's no other place you can put it, I think I'm okay with the project as proposed.
Yep.
Any other Concom-related concerns because of the front?
Well, no, I think we have to make it subject to contract review, but
Yeah.
No,
I'd
I
love to
think-
see
I think that the
D9.
fact that it might be in the riverfront, but I think I agree with Mr. Potter. You know, these kinds of repairs are permitted in the riverfront.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
Something's wrong because I'm seeing the existing wall is 195 feet from things
I
there.
know, that's why
I don't know. Riverfront, I know these lots have been in existence long before the Riverfront Act.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact.
I
It's
know,
more
I-
important to stay away from wells.
Of course, as always, I would love to see a voluntary D-night, but I know I'm not going to get it. So I would entertain a motion.
Okay, so I would move to approve the plan for Fontaine et al. At 34 David Road, a 3-bedroom repair on a plan dated 3/25/24, subject to Concom review, a local upgrade approval waiver for the site well setback at 78 feet rather than 100 feet, 3 years well testing, and hold harmless.
We need a 3-bedroom deed
Yeah, we
restriction.
need a deed restriction too.
3-bedroom deed restriction.
Oh, and a 3-bedroom deed restriction.
Okay, so I second that.
Motion made and seconded to approve the project subject to those conditions. Just, Bob, to be clear, it's 24 David Road. I want to make sure you got that, not 34.
Oh, did I say 34?
Nope.
No, I wrote 24. My notes, sorry.
I may have misheard you. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that's unanimous, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Potter. Okay. Next, we're calling the continued, this is a hearing that was continued from the last meeting for 96 Mascasatch Road for Christopher Dyson, represented by Principi Company. It's a 3-bedroom, it's going to be a 2-bedroom repair, isn't it? Changed to a 2-bedroom repair with bottomless sand filter and Advantex on a 12,000 square foot lot. The house will be demolished and rebuilt.
Good afternoon, Attorney Matthew Landry on behalf of the applicant, Christopher Dyson, joined by Nathan Chauffet from Principi Engineering. You are correct, the change from the last meeting to now is that this was reduced from a 3-bedroom system to a 2-bedroom system. This is more of a technical discussion, but I just want to comment for the record that there was a discrepancy between the existing approved plan, which is actually a 3-bedroom system for the property. The tax assessor records reflect a 2-bedroom system, and that discrepancy we've been trying to work through and resolve it. We didn't want to increase the flow. We were asking for basically a new system that reflected the existing design that was approved. For whatever reason, the actual home design was only a 2-bedroom, didn't reflect the 3-bedroom system that was installed. So Mr. Chauffet reflected that change after discussions with the department prior to the last hearing, so it is now a 2-bedroom system. So Nathan, if you want to go through the system.
Yep, absolutely. Nathan Chauffet with Principi Company, Engineering Division, 27 Secundit Ridge Drive, Tiverton. On behalf of the client, this is a variance request for a new and modern 2-bedroom bottomless sand filter design with a focus on improving environmental protection for the site. As the site exists today, there's an existing 3-bedroom conventional system with no pretreatment, and it sits within 100 feet of 3 nearby wells. Those distances are 85.8 feet from the site's well, 64.3 feet from lot 166, which is to the east, their well, and 81.1 feet from lot 169, that's the lot to the west, their well. The proposed modern design will reduce the size of the existing system, as it is now a 2-bedroom design. Design consists of a 6 foot by 23 foot bottomless sand filter with a 115-gallon septic tank with an Advantex AX20 pretreatment unit and a 1,000-gallon pump tank. Variance request consists of a 5-foot relief from the rear property line and 22.1 foot relief from the site's 100-foot well radius and 27.9 foot relief from lot 166, 100-foot well radius. That's the lot to the east. By placing the bottomless sand filter 5 feet from the rear property line, the design is maxing out the separation distance from both of those wells. The current distance measured the proposed distance measured for the improved system is now, would be proposed 77.9 feet separation from the site's well and 72.1 feet from the lots, from lot 166 well. Those are both improvements, as well as it'll be outside of the 100-foot radius now from 169. That's the lot to the west. No septic tank is within 50 feet from any of those wells mentioned above, and all comments have been addressed from the comments received on April 16th.
Okay, great, thank you. I'm going to turn it over to the director for his report.
Yeah, so when we did our initial review, there was quite a bit of discrepancies that we had to work through, and they did. And they submitted these revised plans, and they seemed to have addressed all of them. Thank you.
Yep.
And it's a bit of a complicated technical plan, but it looks, with the revisions, it looks good for what best they can do on such a small site.
Yes.
Thank you.
Questions, comments from the board?
Just questions. I'm reading the notations at the top of the plan that says contracted to verify the distance between the SAS and the wells, and I want to know if it's been verified that the distance is
Correct.
100
Yeah,
feet.
that's just a standard note we have on the plan. You know, we give the dimensions, and we want to make sure, like, the wells were all shot by our survey team, GPS coordinated, but and it's just you know, a proper kind of design that we go through, just to make sure that the contractor is aware that the wells are in the site and that they are verifying that these are the
That they're
distances.
checking.
Correct.
Yep. Okay.
I'm fine. Can you refresh my recollection of when we need a property line surveyed when you're coming close?
Less than 5 feet.
Less than 5 feet, okay. Thank you.
Do we have a butters?
Yep. So I have a couple questions. One, the lot 166, is that, we usually use street addresses, is that 100 Mascasatch?
I can tell you
I believe.
I just, because that's what we usually
Okay.
use in
Sure.
our motions. So if you can verify the address, that would be helpful. And then, this is a curiosity question. We're used to seeing mode 3B for D-night on Advantix. Is 1B, what's the difference? What's it going to do for us?
Similar, it research into the smaller compartment.
Okay,
But both are seen as appropriate with DEM, Rhode Island RIDEM design manual.
okay.
It's just,
Massachusetts, but.
yeah, no, well, we were told to reference the DEM design manual, so that
For
was
the
just,
BSA,
exactly.
Yep,
The
okay.
only difference I can speak of is that it, just where it resorts back into the tank, it's just on the smaller component side, the 1B versus 3B
Okay.
is on the inlet side.
Okay. Does that provide the same level of D-night? Like 19 milligrams per liter?
I don't, off the top of my head, I don't have the numbers.
Okay. All right, that's okay.
Okay.
We have a lot of people here today. I don't know who's who. If we have anybody who's interested in asking questions or making comments, now's your opportunity. Mr. Sharton, you were here last time. Yep.
Yes, I'm the abutter on the rear where the 5 foot.
Microphone, please. You do go to the side and get you on TV.
I am, is this good? Can you hear it?
I think you can stand up. I think it's just, you don't have to crouch down. You're fine.
So I'm the abutter on the rear side where the 5 foot setback variance is being requested. And my question is can the septic system meet the normal setback requirements placed somewhere on the lot and not infringe on the abutting wells significantly more than it does with the 5 foot setback design?
So so that was taken into consideration in my design, but we deemed, with my measurements through the wells, that this would max out, I say lot 166.
We'll figure that out.
Exactly, and our site's well, while also giving enough relief to the existing property line.
So what that means is that if he moves it further away from the property line, it becomes closer to the wells, which is the environmental and public health risk because of the potential contamination to the wells. So
Correct.
if I'm interpreting your
Absolutely correct.
engineering language correctly.
So moving it in any direction laterally or forward
Well,
and backward
laterally-
doesn't.
Laterally won't get you more than 5 feet from
Yeah,
the property line.
Right. I was
So-
just thinking in all dimensions, moving
Oh.
it,
So, yeah, what you're asking for would be moving it more south, and now both of the wells are to the south, so you'd be going closer to the well. If we go left to right, east to west, that's still the 5 foot, but it'd still even be getting closer to lot 166 well, if we went left to right,
Okay.
or, yeah.
So that's the answer to that is that that's why they're asking for relief from that 5 feet to maximize the distance to the well, separation from the wells.
and what is the minimum distance from a well to a leach field?
The minimum we'll allow under Title V is 50 feet. Anything less than 100 feet requires approval from the board through a local upgrade or variance request. So they're less than 100 feet. They're at now, currently the wells were,
Yep.
again,
So the site's well, 58.8, the lot to the east, 166, is 64.3. So we're seeing the improved distances to 77.9 and 72.1, and then also outside of 169 as well.
right. So they're going to be more than 100 feet from one of the wells that their current system is less than 100 feet. And the other two are increasing the distance from the leach field to the well, increasing the distance, so improving by 20
20 and
feet in
about
one
8.
case and
About
15, 18 in another. So
Okay.
from an environmental perspective and public health perspective, this is an improvement over the current, and the engineer is stating that this is the best location based upon all of those constraints.
Okay, so just, I guess the final question is it then generally the town policy that you will go to the 5 foot setback to improve the distances from wells, or is that the priority, in other words?
Title V, when we have local upgrade approval requests, there is a priority in sort of descending order of what's the least sort of objectionable, that's not the right word, but.
I understand what you're saying, though, yes.
Least harmful to most that are available to us to grant as options. So,
So the standard that Title V asks us generally to apply is maximum feasible compliance. So we tend to, because of what the chair was saying, maximize the distance from the well as the priority, because that is where the public health impact is.
Okay.
I mean, and to put it in perspective, I know that 5 feet doesn't seem a lot, but I think the standard is 10 feet, right? But if this was just 5 feet in the direction, they wouldn't even be asking for this request, so.
Right.
So it's not as if they would have been required to be 30 or 40 feet from the property line. They only asking for an additional 5 feet in exchange for getting much more distance from the wells.
Okay.
So
I understand it.
Yeah,
So I
so
do
that's-
get
so that's
I
the
get
trade-off,
that.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then a final question. If we have trees on our side of the property line that grow roots underneath and disrupt the septic system, what happens?
that's a question for you to answer.
Correct.
Because I think I saw in the plans that anything within 10 feet would have to be cut and removed from a.
In my site analysis, I didn't measure any trees within 10 feet.
Okay.
So he's indicating.
Trees grow.
That 10 feet is the regulation.
So on our side of the property, we have to maintain trees 5 feet away from that,
There's an
10
option
feet
for-
away from the septic? Or
There's an option for a root barrier as well, if that's a compromise.
So could you explain the root barrier a little bit?
It's just underground extra protection for any. It would just be between the property line and the sand filter.
So that might be a
It might,
wild addition.
yeah, I don't want to be down the road having somebody come and say to me, listen, your trees are ruining my septic system. And I feel like I don't want to cut that tree for some reason. It doesn't seem, it would be much nicer if there were a root barrier.
Okay. And it sounds like the engineer's willing to accommodate that. Okay,
All my questions, thank you.
okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, for the record, I confirm with my client, lot 166 is 100.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, any other questions or comments from the audience? Okay, anything else from the board? Not, I'll proceed to a motion. We would be looking for the usual stuff plus the addition of a root barrier to the plan.
Want to take a crack at it, or do you want to do it?
I can take a crack at it. You guys will tell me if I did it right or not.
Good.
I move that we approve the plan for 96 Massaquatchit.
Mascasatch.
Mascasatch? All right, road, owned by Christopher Dyson, dated, the revision was 4/22/24 for a 2-bedroom repair, with the following, with the variances that have been identified in the plan, also with the following conditions. A hold harmless agreement, 2-bedroom deed restriction, Concom review, 3 years of water testing, 2 times a year total nitrogen testing, and the addition of a root barrier between the property, at the property line.
And a hold harmless?
Did I
You
say
got
hold
that.
on?
Say that?
I said that first.
Okay.
I always put that at the top, Phil.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and Bob, do you have the LUAs, the 5 foot from the property line as opposed to 10 feet and 77.9 feet from the well for 96 Mascasatch and 72.1 feet from the well at 100 Mascasatch. Okay, so that motion has been made and seconded. All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes the hearings. We have covered all of our other business. So we can take a motion.
So I move that we adjourn this meeting at 5:04 PM.
Second. All in favor? Aye, that's unanimous. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.